Hi, Ajua.
Hey, Leticia.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
What's up?
Sunshine.
Yeah, what going on?
Not a thing, everything irie and copacetic.
What did you just say?
Everything is good. Everything is aligned. World is perfect.
Awesome. Well,
Not
thanks for
really,
being
but we said that.
here.
Yes.
I know
Thanks
you
for having me.
Oh,
Excitingly.
thank
I'm
you.
so excited.
Same here. Same here. You know what? I think the first time we met through storytelling,
Yes.
it was so rich that I got home and thinking, this woman is special.
Oh.
She has something special going on because it reminded me of when I was growing up back home with my grandma, where we will sit by the fire pit and then she
Yes.
would tell stories. And through that, we got to know her more. We got to know our ancestors more. We got to know our identity.
Yes, so important.
So when you told that story, I said, and I gave you that name Ajua because my grandma's name is Ajua. She was born on Monday. So there was that connection.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when you pointed that out to me, that it brought that reminder to you, Leticia, it's as if my day was so made, my year was made, because this is the whole essence of the storytelling. Why I do storytelling, it's because it's so important to bridge the gap sometimes between this sense of loss or isolation and belonging. And I find that when we leave our space of center and we migrate, we get lost sometimes.
We do.
And so storytelling, I find, helps with a sense of belonging.
Well, thank you for doing the work in the community, and I really appreciate that. On that note, tell the people who you are, personally, professionally.
Okay, professionally, I'm a dual licensed lawyer here in Ontario and Jamaica. I'm a cultural storyteller. I try to link social justice, law, culture, and memory. I think that's me on a professional level. Personally, I do a lot of cultural events, legal seminars. I love to read, I love music, and I love my rhythms. Food, which I shouldn't say, but oh my God.
Of course, you gotta say the food.
Food. And I like connecting with people who, different people is fine. I'm happy with that. But for me, I find the core of me, I just like people who, out of nowhere, we just connect, like you and I. We didn't know each other, and there was something that I couldn't put my finger on. Same thing in the office sometimes. People from diverse backgrounds come in, and there's just this connection. So I think in a way I am a connector. I'm still working that through, and you know what that therefore means. That's me.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So you know June is seniors mental health and also men's mental health. And I think I did speak about men's mental health, but seniors mental health, there is something about seniors. I don't know what it is, Maxine, but I am drawn to seniors. You know, I've always been in the retirement nursing home, and I think they're full of wisdom. Full of stories. And when they get to that age, it looks like we just maybe forget about them and say, that they're old, they're done with life, and they just, there until, the good Lord calls them home, right? But there's so much more to who they are as seniors, because they were like you and me before.
Exactly.
They had mental health issues, they had depression, anxiety. But when they get to that age and they go to the retirement homes or the nursing homes, they don't get that space to talk about what's happening. Right? They don't know the stories. They want to tell their stories, like storytelling. They want to say, when I was this age, I did this, I did that, but they don't have the space. So how can we enrich their mental health experience through storytelling?
Well, I'm going to speak from personal experience. My father was not talkative when we were children. And looking back, I realized that there was a lot of stress. He was in the army. But he would do things. So he would be the one to maybe bake a patty, coconut drops, cultural stuff. as he aged, he became more talkative. And we would hear stories, and you could see there was a drive to connect, a drive to connect with the grandchildren, a drive to connect with us. And I think a sense of needing or an urgency to be relevant. And of course, this is me looking back. Sometimes in a moment, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think what needs to happen is that in the seniors' homes, there needs to be an understanding of the different cultural nuances of each senior. There needs to be an understanding of the importance of communication and communication to a sense of belonging, a sense of importance. We all want to feel as if we belong, yes, but that what we have to say is important and relevant.
Exactly.
And sometimes, we will hear seniors telling the same stories over and over ad nauseum. And I've had to explain, because that was what I experienced. I've had to explain to others that just be patient and listen. The story is important. You may not understand why it's important now, but it's better to be patient and listen, because when they're gone, you're going to regret hearing that voice.
Yes. Oh.
And so some of the stories I've heard from my dad, it was when he passed 2 years ago, little things he did, that's when things hit me, and I was listening. But it's a different listening when the senior isn't there. And so it's to get through to the seniors, you also have to get through to the relatives around, the family members, the friends, for them to understand that, they're talking about a tree that never stopped growing, but it might be more than that.
It's a metaphor. Yes. It's a metaphor to get the message out.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Wow. I love that you said culture. Let's unpack that a little bit.
Yes.
When I was growing up, I'd never heard my grandmother or my great-grandmother say that I'm stressed out, or I am having a hard day, or I need somebody to talk to. What I experienced was through storytelling. My grandma would be like, oh, today I went to the farm and I met this lady. She wasn't well, and we had to talk about what's been going on at home. So that was her way of, let's say, counseling somebody, right? Yes. Through talking, through sharing ideas, right? But I never saw my grandma, my great-grandma say like, I am stressed out, or I am overwhelmed, or have anxiety. But they might have experienced that in their time. So when you were growing up, did you ever hear your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your grandfather talk about, I'm feeling stressed? Never. Do you think it's a cultural thing?
I think it's a cultural thing. I think also it's in our stories to shut up. So, and the stories are, well, some stories, like some proverbs. So one of our proverbs is, if you want good, you know have to run. So if you want good things, you have to suffer a little.
Oh my.
If you want good, you know have to run. Another one is cock mouth kill cock, or rooster mouth kill rooster. So if you talk too much, you end up putting yourself in a situation or revealing things you should not reveal. It works against you. So things like that. So, I mean, in their time, I would like to think the proverbs were more, common and said over and over. And you just never talked about these things. You do what you have to do, and you, in your mind, you say, well, you know what, everything will work out in the end. Or if I pray, or if I go to church, or if I sing my gospel song, God will work everything out for me, and everything will come to what it must come. And who trouble me, God going to take care of them. So it's a kind of putting off. My grandmother was always busy, I realized, after the fact. And my mother keeps saying, we called her Lola, poor Lola. She never had time for herself. But in the moment, as them being children, I
Mhm.
don't think they saw it.
No.
It's as they got older, and I think even now, as seniors themselves, experiencing what it means to be an elder or a senior, they're realizing that Lola never really had time for herself. It was go, 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 go. Yes. Same thing with my great grandmother. As the stories I heard, she's
go, 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 go.
Yes. And you notice it's mostly mothers.
Yes.
So I'm trying to think, where are my grandfathers? Oh. Yes, one died early. One was kind of not really. He's there, though not as there.
As there. Oh, wow. So you know what I heard? It's like a similarities with the Ghanaian culture, and
you see the connection.
Huge connection.
Yes.
Because what I heard you say, like intergenerational, through the intergenerational lens.
Yes.
We don't talk about it. You deal with it.
Yes.
Internally. So I never saw my grandma cry. I've never seen my grandma cry.
No, I neither.
I've never seen her be like, okay, I'm struggling. I need help. It was always her doing things. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Yes.
Just like your grandmother was always busy.
Doing. Always doing. My great grandmother, I understand, she had a donkey. In the mornings, she would take whatever things she picked from her yard, her field, her space, and it was no big field. And she would walk with the donkey through some tracks and hills to sell. And whatever she made, she would buy with whatever she got and come back. And I always want, and that aspect of the story about her is a fairly recent thing. But as a child, I was struck by how whenever we kissed her, her face was so hard and leathery. And it's a son, it's walking. It's all that walking.
Yeah.
But it was never, when we would visit, you just kiss and then you disappear as a child. It was just about, okay, Mama Beauty, that was her name. You're ready for some food. It was not sit down and have a chat. They never spoke really. You know?
Yeah.
It's this thing.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but they're so resilient.
And I hate that word.
Why do you hate that word?
I hate it.
Tell me that.
I hate that word. I have a poem about that word.
Tell me why you hate that word. Why do you hate that resilience? Tell me about that.
Because resilience to me means that you have, if I can just remember the phrase in my poem, is like you have walked through crap, you have walked on nails. And to be resilient, it means you have suffered and you came out of it having suffered. So, okay, I came out of it, I'm happy, I'm strong, but that means that you suffered before you came out of it. So I don't like it because I know the positive. I know the positive of it is that you survive.
I want to know. I want to know more. I do want to know more because that's a huge thing for you to say that.
I hate it.
Is it personal or is it?
It's perhaps personal as well.
In what sense? We do some counseling here.
Yeah, do some counseling for me. All right, let me tell you.
Tell me.
When I came, resilient, I think if it was used before I came here, it wouldn't have bothered me. But coming here, I've had to endure things that I would not have put up with in Jamaica. And so coming here for me, resilient, maybe that's a trigger because it reminds me that I am not in my first home. You know, not in my middle home, because to get to Jamaica, I had to come from relatives, ancestors had to come from other homes. But I'm not in my home before I came here. I would not have been placed in certain situations. Look on what we are talking about now. I would not have been placed in certain situations if I had stayed home. So I think coming here, and this is a country where certain words just hit. In Jamaica, we don't say resilience, we say with talawa. And that talawa, is an empowering thing. It's not to me, resilience here is like, it's just this constant beating, man. You're just suffering. The wall and the suffering, and you come out of it and you say happy and you sing a song and you say hallelujah.
So what word would you replace with resilience and why?
Boy, I don't know. Here, I don't know. But I know I am talawa. Well, am I resilient? I guess I am. But for me, Talawa is like it's a little bit more. It's much more empowering. It's like you have the control, and you have gone through this fully aware. You know your situation. You're in a country that you know how the workings go, and so you can see the light, and you're Talawa. Here, you don't know what you get yourself into, but you know, because you're making me work some things out here, because you know that you come with the Talawa.
I'm listening.
Because you come with the Talawa, you're going to, at the end of it, come out of it. But then others will say, "Oh, you're resilient." But a Talawa, me Talawa.
Listen.
Maybe it's the same thing.
Maxine is a Talawa.
But it just to me is.
I think it's very personal.
It is personal.
Very personal.
It is personal. And
even listening to you say that, can we look at law? You're a lawyer.
Yes.
Let's connect that with your work, with that word, resilience.
Yes.
So you see clients that come with so much, like the stories are like, sometimes it's heavy.
It's heavy, bad.
So
bad, heavy, really heavy. Because some of the things clients will come about when you hear where they want to get to, but what they're going through, and how they got to the point where they need help with certain things. It is rough. It is really rough. And the supports, where are the supports? This is Canada.
I think I'm piecing things together.
Yeah.
Lack of support, but then you want me to be resilient. You want me to suffer, but then you don't give me anything in return.
Exactly. That's it.
See?
Yes. And that's the thing. In Jamaica, Jamaica is not perfect. The Caribbean is not perfect. But you can, the people you can call on.
Community.
The friends. Community. Yes. You can visit people. You don't have to make appointment to look for a friend or family. As you do here.
Community.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's the community, the community support. It takes a while for you to really get connected to the community because you're starting over.
Exactly. I understand Talawa. This is what I'm understanding, Leticia. Yes. Here, resiliency, go through it all, no support, no community, and then you find your way like, oh, great job.
Good job.
Back home, you're suffering. Here, I'm going to help you.
Yes.
Here, you want something to eat.
Yes.
Come home, community. We heal together.
Yes.
Here, you heal in isolation.
Here, it is isolated. I mean, I know people in Jamaica are suffering alone and in isolation. And maybe when they say their Talawa is really resilience without the support. So now you're going to let me start to think I need to write a story about Talawa.
You're going to write a story about it because I'm so interested in that. I really am, because I'm thinking you suffer.
Yes.
You come out of it. Good job. Amazing.
You get an award.
Home, you're suffering. I see you. I see you. I'm here for you.
Yes.
Let me hold your hand. So I think that's where you're like.
And we have the heroes to look at. We have Nanny in Jamaica to look at. We have Sam Sharp.
Yes.
We have Paul Bogle. And we know that it was resilience and all of that struggling and thing. But I don't know what it is. I mean, if you look at even the pictures of the heroes, and I keep going back to Nanny, it's like there is this thing. It's like a knowing. So it's like a knowing. It's like a knowing that at the end of the day, yes. But here, you don't know if you're going to get out of it and succeed.
There you go.
That's it.
Community.
That's it.
Community.
Yes.
I suffer, you're there.
Yes.
You see me.
I see you suffering.
Yes. Here, you suffer in isolation.
Yes.
You come out. Good job.
Yeah, because I suffer when I come here, so you have to suffer too.
That's the language. It has become so, it's been normalized.
Yes.
Go to abroad to get green, what is it called? Green pastures?
Yes.
But you have to suffer.
You think
you
you're
have
somebody.
to suffer.
Yes.
That's the word.
Yes, you have to suffer.
But do we have to suffer?
No. I mean, you will have challenges because everything is new. And sometimes even the supports, even with the supports, because what I also found out, as I'm sure many have, is that you may speak the same language, English, but it's a different English. It's a different style of communicating, right? And so you may have the supports and you go and you say, I would like X. They don't know what you mean by X. They try to figure it out. You're speaking the same language. So even that is a struggle, you know. But so supports don't necessarily help, but at least if you know supports are there, you can keep going. And there's a lot of work now with some organizations that are trying to understand and make connections and put cultures in touch with cultures, you know, ethnicities in touch with similar ethnicities, place of origin in touch. So you get that kind of better help. Not when we did come here, though.
It's hard. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But having this kind of connection with others helps.
It does. It does. Because even thinking about somebody's going to be there when I need them, just thinking about that, that is a protective factor.
It is.
It really is.
Even to be able to text, and even you don't even have to go into what is bothering you. You know, I'll just send to somebody that I connect. Hey. And the person say, hey, back. And, you know, they may will send some emoji that just gets you laughing. And somehow you have not explained the crisis you're going through.
The human connection.
But it helps.
The human connection. And I think that's what's missing in the homes with seniors.
Yes. Oh, yes, that's what we're talking about.
Oh, we'll get back. I told you when we get together, the conversation goes all over. Everywhere. And I love that.
So that's the thing. So as a senior, you can imagine my aunt was just placed in one of those homes. And I called her and she was walking around and she said, okay, you know, Maxine, I just stuck my head in. And earlier this morning and somebody was sitting there and they called me in. And so I went in and I saw what they were doing and that wasn't bad. And then after there, I left and went to another space. They were doing some other activity and they called me in. And so I said, so Auntie, it's not so bad. She said, no, it just takes a little while. So that calling her in, I don't know if she has started to tell her stories yet because she's a storyteller too.
She is.
And that's a storyteller. She just talks about experiences. But at least the calling in is so important. And I think there is so much scope for persons who do the work we do to be involved in those homes. I did do a presentation, I think it was during Black History Month. And the seniors, I walked with my little drums and my rattles, and I told a Caribbean story inspired by Anansi, a Ghana, a Kan people. And, you know, at first I was wondering, but they were so engaged. They were shaking the rattles, those who could. And, you know, one came over after and said, you know, he really enjoyed it.
Wow.
He was started to ask more questions. So that connection, and that is a story that you would think they would not be able to connect with. But they did.
Why is that? Because it's from your culture, right? You bring it into the Canadian culture.
Yes.
Why do you think they experience that culture, the Jamaican culture, and the Anansi story from Ghana?
I think the warmth. We are just warm people, starting from the root. So we are warm people, and Anansi stories tell of life.
And the lessons.
Tell of life. And sometimes it's lessons, but sometimes you don't. You're enjoying it so much. You don't even realize it's a lesson. And I think being seniors, they would recognize that there's more to the fun of it. There's a lesson there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I think you should do more. We should go to home.
We should.
We should do it together.
Yeah, we should go.
Look at us brainstorming our ideas.
Yeah. We're just here to chat. Yeah, we should. We should.
But tell me this. Our grandfathers never talked about mental health, you know, as seniors. Do you think through storytelling, they were healing themselves through storytelling?
I think through their stories, they were trying to connect with whoever was in front of them. And in telling the story, they're also passing on something that they heard from those before them. And yes, because when you tell and you share, it's a healing. Whatever it is that's going on, it's therapy. You're speaking, you're expressing. There would have been singing, maybe dancing, rhythm. All these things help in the healing process, and is a way as well to let those who are listening heal, whether or not they know they're healing, learn. And what I love about storytelling is that sometimes you don't even realize the impact until years, decades later, a memory comes up, and it was that story, something from the story. So yes.
Yeah. And I use narrative therapy.
Oh, you do?
In this space. That's through storytelling. Because you get to tell your story and you get to rewrite your story.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes.
And with seniors, can you imagine sitting with them and say, tell me about your life. Tell me when you were 9 or when you were 11 or a teenager. Tell me your lived experience. So through that, they go back.
Yes.
Right? And talk about what they've been through. And through that, they heal themselves as well. Because I'm seeing an old lady.
Yes.
And she goes, Leticia, our times are so good. I always look forward to seeing you. And that warms my heart.
It's healing.
It is healing because I create a space for her to talk about her. And she told me about when she was growing up and the things that she did. She showed me pictures. Oh, Maxine. And to me, that is healing.
But it's not just mental, as you know.
No.
Because it's also physically rewiring.
It wiring the brain, the nervous system.
So even for persons who may have early onset
dementia.
You know, things that it helps. Memory. You know, strengthening of memory. And also, I'm sure sometimes when they're speaking with you, they may recall something happening this way. And then based on, you know, questions you may ask, they may realize, oh, that wasn't the thing. That was a bad memory. It actually happened this way.
Yes.
So it is so important.
It is. Get on it.
Man,
Get on it. Get on it. My goodness. You're having a moment. I can see that.
Yes.
You're having a moment.
Yes, I am having a moment.
We're not doing therapy, I promise.
No. I'm just, I'm really just wondering if I know we're not saying anything new.
No.
And so I'm wondering why there isn't more of a focus on this aspect of things. But, you know, maybe it's something for us to do as change makers and, you know, highlight and amplify the importance of allowing our seniors to get access to connections through storytelling, access to others, access to themselves. Because as you age, as you get caught up in life, you forget little aspects and pieces of yourself, you know. And maybe it is that being a senior is a time to reflect and capture back yourself. People say, you know, always put yourself first. Okay. But it's a little bit more than that.
100%. And I see where you're going with that. I really do. Because I always say your emotions, your feelings are always going to be with you. Unless you know, the good God calls you. They still have feelings.
Yes.
They still have emotions. They still have hard times here and there.
Yes.
But where are we creating this space for them? Because I remember, you know, my background as a nurse.
Yes.
They would start talking and then I have to go. And that made me feel so awful. That's why I made that change to be in therapy. Because I couldn't give them the space for them to talk. Because I had to go see somebody else. Take care of the physical. But the mental I wasn't able to. So that's why I transitioned to give them that space.
I get that in my office as well.
Yeah.
People come for A.
Yeah. Yep.
They come for A. And A is done. But the conversation goes. And sometimes, if I don't have another appointment, I sit.
You sit with them.
Because you don't know if they don't get the space to speak.
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen? And sometimes they may have come for A And based on the conversation, you realize they need B. So the B they may need after you discuss it, after revealing, they've revealed certain things, it has to be layered a particular way. So even things like they may come to get their wills done, or they may come to get their powers of attorney done. And they have someone in mind, but based on the conversation, we have to have a general discussion as to who they should put in charge of their affairs.
Look at that, eh?
So listening.
Very important.
But sometimes the stories don't come in one sentence.
It does not. It does not. It
goes this way. Yeah. And you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
And listen. Wow. I can see why you would move to have a change of career, because it's so natural.
We're lacking the connection. We're lacking the connection.
Yes.
The human connection. You see us always on our phone? We're lacking that, Maxine.
Yes.
We really are.
We are.
We need to get back.
It's just a busy life.
It is.
And sometimes it's not even real busy.
What do you think it is?
It's fabricated busy, because I have to look busy or I'm not successful, am I? I don't know why the accent changed.
Or is it I have to look busy not to deal with stuff?
Yes.
Because we do that.
Yes.
It's a coping mechanism.
It is. It's better not to have time to think.
Yeah. When was the last time you sat with yourself, Maxine, and say, let me do nothing and just let me soul Maxine?
Weekends.
Oh, what do you do?
And I just write, and the ideas come. That sometimes is frustrating, but the ideas come, and I dream up stuff and think of things to do in terms of the whole storytelling and connecting it to law and all of that. And I also read. I love to read.
What does that do for you?
So reading transports me to a different place and time.
Wow.
So I guess it's a bit of escapism.
Yeah.
But and then sometimes it is, and then sometimes it's as if the reading and being in a different time and space, it also helps my storytelling and my poetry writing, because it's as if from when I was a child I could read and it's like I'm not here.
You escape?
I'm just not here. People be calling me and I'm not hearing. And I hope other people have that experience.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yes.
They escape through
so when you read
the characters.
Yeah, you don't.
Well, I do, but I don't go anywhere. I just stay.
I'm there.
Really? Some people say that they escape.
There. I'm seeing it.
Wow. You're visualizing it.
I'm everything. I'm seeing it.
That's why you're a storyteller.
And it's real.
Wow.
It's just real. And so sometimes I have to put books down because it's too heavy.
Really?
Yeah.
Who picks the books?
Me, but I love it because it something hits me and I have to put it down and just
absorb
marinate,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like you're healing yourself through that.
Maybe I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maxine.
It's like a session.
So how can yes, I told you.
This is good. I know.
So how can we get storytelling? How can we get therapy into the homes? Where do we start?
Well, we start, I think, with, there needs to be a policy, but we shall not get governmental. But there needs to be a policy and an understanding. And we could say it starts in the home, but it needs to be like all at once, revamping of what it means to be a senior.
Yeah.
We put this pressure. The word elder to me is like, you're an elder.
I know.
You're
the stigma. Is a stigma there.
Wisdom personified. You have no issues. And you just have acquired your statehood of being an elder.
Yeah.
Elderhood. And so, you're fine.
Yeah.
So seniors and seniors apparently starts at 55, but if everyone understood that if they live long enough they will be seniors and understand it's a personal thing, there will be, I think, more channeling of resources on ensuring that there's access to storytelling, access to mental health work, some people maybe mental wellness, you know, and getting the different organizations, institutions, people that deal with seniors to be trained. Maybe it's a training
100%.
in storytelling
100%.
and understanding. It's not, storytelling isn't just going and standing up and telling a story.
No.
Storytelling is connecting with whoever is in front of you, and finding ways to have them connect with you. And it may be one-on-one. It might be a group storytelling circle. It might be a mental wellness event facilitated by you. And, you know, just getting people to feel comfortable speaking, the seniors. It may take time. It may take visiting more than once. I don't know how you see it in terms of the storytelling thing and getting it in.
I think usually in the retirement homes and the nursing home, they have events. They put on events. And I think just going through those events and making sure that you're placing them in there. Mental health workshops, storytelling by Maxine. You know, because the seniors, like, they have the time.
They have the time.
They have the time. So when they want to join
and
those.
they thirst for things.
They are. The connection.
Yes, they thirst for things.
Because back home, you have everybody around.
Yes.
There's no nursing home. There's no retirement home. The village takes care of you. So they're never isolated. But here they're isolated.
The problem with, so my mom, my dad, they have seniors homes, but it's not as big as here.
Okay.
So I have family members, older family members, and they're just home, you know, and I will say to my mother, okay, mommy, pick up writing. Or mom, why don't you listen to music or watch a show? And I'll say to her, whenever they visit though, oh my God, I drag them everywhere.
Yeah, I can see that.
I drag them here and I drag them there. I mean, one time we reached PEI with them. By car, right?
Maxine, all the way down there?
Get them moving.
Wow.
And dad died 2 years ago, but he would complain because, you know, the pains and the legs, but his brain sharp. He would complain. But Mommy said every time they went back to Jamaica, people visit. He would be telling them about all the places, you know, so that they yearn for this activity.
For that. Yeah, they do.
Right? What do I say in Jamaica again? Something like, me old, but me not cold.
Well, like
I'm old, but I'm not cold. I'm not dead. You know? Me old, but me not cold. Right?
It's true.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
But I'm not gone yet. I'm
lock
still
me
here.
Up in the fridge.
I'm still here.
I'm still here. Let me out. Keep me nice and warm and out and thriving. You know?
Not when it's cold here.
Wow. Oh my God.
Listen, my grandma came here and she's like, what is this?
Yes.
She's like, it's ready. Is that what she said?
Yes.
You put in the fridge?
Yes.
And she goes, I'm not dead yet. Don't put me in the fridge.
Don't bring her in the fridge. Yeah.
But it's the environment.
Yes.
It really is.
It is the environment.
And community. Yes. I went back home last year and it's like,
it's different.
I felt at home. I felt like I belonged.
I think looking back now at my grandmother, at my two grandmothers, the community was always there because it was rural Jamaica.
Okay.
So the community was always there. And my grandmother apparently could cook. And when people see the fire,
they knew.
They turn up.
Look at
like you know, they just come to say hi.
Community.
Yes. And there's a story my mother told me. I won't say all of it, but it had to do with the fact that here are these people coming, and sometimes I would feel as if these people are just going to eat off, children, eat off their food,
the food,
anything.
Yeah.
But it's that community, and then the thing is, maybe that was her way of dealing with stress, giving, this feeling of
and
giving,
the cooking,
yeah,
huge.
Yes,
that's a coping tool.
I'm gonna tell my mother that
it is. It is a coping
You
mechanism.
wicked children didn't want to share your food, not knowing it's therapy for your mother.
Just like you read,
yes,
their way of through cooking, right? Escape.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maxine, this has been rich. We gotta do this more. Everybody that I talk about, we're gonna talk. We're gonna share ideas. We're gonna share wisdom.
Yeah.
But tell people how to reach you if they wanna, bring you on as a storyteller for organizations, for anybody. Yeah, tell them how to reach you.
I am on social media. I'm at Caribbean Talawa. Caribbean, Caribbean, scrunched up with Talawa, no dots. Tallawah. Scrunch up. They'll remember.
And
they'll remember it.
Yeah, I'll put it in my story too.
So at Caribbean Talawa or at Caribbean Story Tree.
Thank you for that. I will share that with the viewers. But Maxine, thank you. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure meeting together. We can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about.
Well, how long was it?
I'm not even looking at the time. We have a whole thing to talk about. Look at where we went. We can go so many ways. And I love that through your storytelling, you're healing the community. And I appreciate you for that.
I appreciate you because this was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Just sitting and chatting and finding out a little bit more about myself as well.
Oh, I did a bit of therapy.
Thanks for that, Leticia. Really appreciate it.
We'll do this again.
We have to.
Medasi. That means thank you in Ghana.
Yes, how do I say?
Medasi. There you go.
Oh, you didn't teach me that already?
See? Medasi. Hey, Ajua.
I might forget. Medasi.
Awesome.